Cross-cultural diversity and inclusion, Dr. Mina Ali. We're going to continue with video number 3 of this series entitled Small Acts of Inclusion, Welcoming Diversity. This video hopefully will tap into another source of understanding as to how we can welcome a diverse people into our lives. Now, welcoming is the understanding in this tangent. Welcoming is the act of wanting to have someone come into a space that wasn't ordinarily open. This is the thing that you can relate to when you say, welcome into my home. Now, they don't live there and maybe they haven't been there before, but what you're saying now is my door is open for you. That welcoming is an act of true intention in bringing someone in to your space. Now, some of the ways that we can do that is through the term alignment. So today we're going to be talking about alignment. Now, that's a word we don't normally use, or maybe men use it more than we do when they talk about the car. But alignment is something that we can tangibly touch when we talk about welcoming in our space, especially in the terms of diversity. Now, the first thing we have, actually we have 3 terms. We have collaboration, we have cooperation, and we have information. And these are 3 terms that we're going to use as we talk about this thing called alignment. Now, you know, in the term alignment, that means that gets 2 pieces that may not be congruent, and we put them together and they become parallel to each other. They become one. They form a linear equation in what it is that we question. Now, this linearness, if you will, is the thing that we're trying to strive to accomplish. The diversity that we have within each other is that linear acceptance, that you accept them across the board, that there is a welcoming mat at every aspect of their life, their journey, and their process with you. This is that unconditional love that we are all striving to have. Most of us have it for our children or our family, but this is something that we need to have for everyone. Now, acceptance is not giving permission or condoning. Acceptance is realizing that everybody is not the same place you are at the same time. This is understanding that some people need a little bit more help. Some people need a little bit more love. Some people need a little bit more time. Growth and maturity comes into play when we think about this thing called alignment, and the necessary aspect of understanding those terms. Maturity has nothing to do with age. It has to do with wisdom. So understanding that everyone wises up at a different time, and we have to have an inclusive understanding of that acceptance. That is the essence of alignment. So let's talk about those terms. First one is cooperation. Now, my notes say cooperation is different ways that we can confine and combine each other. Now, the cooperation I like to see is always over food. I am just an eternal foodie, and anytime you can offer me some plate of some kind from some far off land, I am there with bells on and quite a few dollars in my pocket to offer you. But these are things that I'm going to use for this diversity piece. Now, when we talk about cooperation, I have a few things in my notes, but I'm just going to allow the spirit of this intention to flow. Now, when we talk about cooperation, we're talking about putting things together, to together, operate, to function. So we're going to function together over food. Okay? So let's have the Church of God of Christ and a Pentecostal church host a Buddhist dinner. I mean, that's a thought. That's not something that we seem to think that it's uncommon, but maybe we can bring them here. Maybe there's a Buddhist temple here in the Atlanta area that maybe we can go in there and welcome them and share the things that we have alike. These are things like peace and cooperation. How do we define the unification for our children? How do we welcome Buddhist children into the lives of a Pentecostal home? Maybe we can do and I like to do this, a domestic hosting, where you live in the same area, you may even live in the same town, but you have your child live with someone else's family and vice versa, and see how they live. Live a day in a life. just to see the cooperative understanding that these children may have to express and be about in their everyday life. Oh, how delicious that is. Next thing is we can have a Passover Seder with Hindus. Now, you know, I've been to many Passover Seders just coming up as a child, but just knowing that Hindus with their nice meals that is making my mouth water right now is going to be a part of this. Now, of course, we have to have dietary restrictions based on the traditions, but we can understand that certain things can be included that will add a little spice, a little difference, a little unification to that delectable culinary meal. How about that? Now, I've always had a great thing with Ramadan. And Ramadan, of course, is a tradition where there is a spiritual awakening and there's a cleansing and cleaning of the air and the life and the journey that we have. And of course, there's a small part of it called a fast. But the giving of what it is that we're supposed to be doing as people is cumulated in Ramadan. It's 30 days. And you know, it takes 28 days to change a habit. So how about having a Universal Unitarian Church do Ramadan? How about that? How about we learn from the elders in Islam and then put it together as our formulation of Ramadan in a Universal Unitarian Church? How about that? How cool would that be? And every night we have a meal and we break bread with somebody from the tradition, from one masjid or another, and we learn a little bit more about Islam. So in 30 days, we should be well acquainted with who and what the Muslim people are and understand a little bit more about Islam. How cool is that? Oh my goodness. I hope that helped you. And I hope that helped you to understand what cooperation can look like. All right, next, collaboration. Now, these next two are going to be really, really quick because the understanding of collaboration mixes in with that cooperation. And I have here in my notes, the collaboration can be workshops that we formulate. Now, I always like to do different things in different areas. For example, I took a CPR class in the Asian community. Now, of course, they spoke English, but I got a feel on how they did it a little differently. Now, of course, we have people, the American Lung Association. We also have the American Red Cross. They offer CPR classes. But how cool will it be to understand how the Asian or the Mandarin communities do CPR? Maybe their coordination or their counting is a little different. How about counting in Chinese when you're doing your chest compressions? How cool is that? Learning another language while you're learning a new trade. I recertify my CPR and my BLS in different communities just to learn how to count in a different language. It's something we can do. We can formulate workshops where we train the trainer on different ways that we can collaborate together in society on different topics like culture and religion and creed and race. And we can have them teach different race, different cultures, different religions in their community. That allows diversity to be the inclusion and allows everybody to learn a different way. Next thing is information. Now, this information thing, I think the information gathering in this age of information should not be hard. This definitely should not be something that we have to ponder more than 2 minutes. Click a button, hit Google, find out something, put it into format form in a class. Okay? But how about we develop expos about history, culture, dispelling myths, and put it all together where it's a free concert, where we have music from different cultures. And in between the sets, we have someone get up and tell a story about days of old. Maybe have someone do a dance of their cultural tradition. How about have someone go and speak about some of the myths of their ancestry that maybe most people don't understand, and put it all together in a workshop for everyone to listen to and appreciate. And then let's get back to the music. I hope that helps you, and I hope that it guides you to an understanding of what it is that we need to do to welcome diversity in a new way. Until we meet again, be good to each other.